Alright. Okay. It is 6:30 p.m. on a Thursday. And that doesn't mean that it's time to prep Skull and Shackles or Wild Beyond the Witchlight. No, it is Curse of Strahd Nightfall now. The years pass. Dungeons & Dragons continues. So, the Curse of Strahd games that we're running, they've been a little rough. They've been a little rough. We have one permanent death already. The campaigns are only about 3 sessions in. I mean, the introductory adventure is called Death House, so I can't be too surprised by this, but Sunday's game in particular, Sunday morning's game, Daybreak, I was at the edge of my seat. I could not believe the luck that kept them alive. It was absolutely bananas. So I was wondering, I was like, man, everybody's got broken arms. Like, how come they're breaking their arms so much? So I decided to actually, like, look at the table again. And, like, there's like a 7% chance of breaking your arm. So maybe don't ever tell my players this. So what I'm going to do, or what I started doing, is I went through the table and I started kind of mixing and matching. And just trying to get that maybe not so broken, not so busted. So yeah. And I have all 3 of my Curse of Strahd games open at the same time, and we're gonna kind of go through and examine those tables and maybe try to tweak those numbers to not be so absolutely and ridiculously punishing. It also occurred to me that we didn't have anything in place of how to get rid of injuries. So I worked on that earlier this week, and then it occurred to me that when you take massive damage, you're not always taking massive damage from weapons. So, like, what happens if you take elemental damage, right? What if you take a shitload of fire damage? What if you take a lot of poison damage? Well, fortunately, a long time ago, a very long time ago, let me see. File details. September 8th of 2020, in fact, so over 2 years ago, we all sat down and we made a bunch of critical effects for every type of elemental damage that you might take. So we're kind of equipped to deal with this a little bit. But it is 3 games, and we've got to, like, you know, have everything updated to all those places. So, the first thing I want to look at is the tables for injuries. So I'm going to go ahead and get that open for each of the games. Here we go. And then one more. Huzzah. Alright, and then we're playing Nightfall tonight, so we're going to want to look at this one up close. But you roll a d100, and I added 4 new results to the table on top of what we had before. So there's something now called a Festering Wound. Your hit point maximum is reduced by 1 every 24 hours that this wound persists. If your hit point maximum drops to 0, you die. And then someone can tend to the wound and make a DC 15 medicine check once every 24 hours. After 10 successes, the wound heals. So it's like a real bad wound. And then there's Battle Weary. You gain 1 exhaustion / stress. We're doing the thing where we stack exhaustion and stress, and they're just one thing now. And then Injured Back. Carry capacity is halved. Disadvantage on heavy lifting checks, and then strength score reduced by 2, and then torn tendon, speed reduced by 5, dex score reduced by 2. And what I did is I went through here and I increased the values of the things that are not so bad, right? Like bumps and bruises, no additional effect. Short-term shock, you basically miss a turn. And then let's see, the Battle Weary. Like, Battle Weary's got a 9% chance of showing up now. So 1 out of 10 injuries is probably just going to give you some stress. And then we moved it so that anything related to breaking stuff was much lower than it was before. And that should hopefully cut down on the amount of like broken bones that we're dealing with in the game. I hope. So yeah. So what I'm thinking is maybe tweaking those numbers just a little bit more. So what I might do is I've lowered the broken legs to like 1%. I'm thinking all broken bones, given like how much effort goes into repairing them. Probably want to lower the percentage rate on them broken bones. So I've already got skull fracture down to 1%. So we'll go ahead and we'll lower broken leg is at 1% and broken arm is at 1%. We could go ahead and lower foot to 2% and hand to 2%. And then what we'll do is we'll increase bumps and bruises by 1. And we'll go down and increase battle weary by 1. Alright, and I just have to do that 2 more times. So update, update. Go in here, same deal. So raising this by 1, going down to, let's see. Oh yeah, making this 2% and 2%, and then going down here and making this 10%. And update, update, and last time we got to go through here, and we'll make this 2%, 2%. Gonna update that. And actually, this is my baby group, so I'll go ahead and update that to 8. There we go. Change it. Update. Cool. Now, we might have to tweak it again in the future, but hopefully this reduces the amount of broken bones that we're dealing with in the game. So, over here, how do we deal with all this stuff that's broken? We've got Curse of Strahd, injuries and wounds, how to recover and move on. So wounds. You recover from 1 wound after each successful long rest. After completing a long rest with modest accommodation, a character can roll a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. If successful, they recover from a second wound if they have one. And then, let's see. So that's kind of giving them a chance to like recover faster if they have like a strong constitution. Use of a healer's kit by someone with proficiency in medicine gives advantage on this roll. This counts as their long rest activity. I might actually go ahead and put that here as well. Alternatively, use of a healer's kit by someone without any wounds with proficiency in medicine allows that person to substitute their medicine check for the patient's con save. This counts as their long rest activity. And then down here, we've got magic. A cure wound spell can remove 1 wound, but must be cast at the same level as the number of wounds the target currently has to have any effect. Regardless of what level it is cast at, a single casting can only remove 1 wound. For these purposes, count any injuries towards the total number of wounds a creature has. Cure wounds cannot remove injuries unless stated below. And then it has, you cannot recover from long-term injuries if you have any wounds. So then we go down to injuries. Lost parts. Really, it's just regeneration spell. Otherwise, prosthetics. Good news on prosthetics. I went and picked up some very nice books on the topic. So there's this lovely one called Disabilities by Sam Grierson, and that's available in the DM's Guild. And that actually walks you through the challenges that come from disability, how they are handled in the rules, and ways that players can overcome them through gameplay. And I think it's actually really, really well done and very thoughtful work here. And then it also talks about prosthetics, guide animals, and then magical items. And then the other one here is arcane prosthesis. And this is by Jesse McNamee. And basically here, it talks about the ethical question of disability in gameplay and healing a disability versus living with a disability, and then types of disabilities that you might have and how they might impact your ability to mechanically function within a 5th edition adventure. This is all very touchy stuff, so I was really happy that somebody wrote this stuff out, because it was a tough subject to kind of broach here. And then these are magical prosthesis, but what I like about this is they have some feats here, and this is very similar to some of the feats in Valda's, that if you have the prerequisite of not having this stuff, if you don't have hands, there's dexterous feet, the feet. So you can actually kind of use your hands as feet. If you are deaf, you can get lip reading and gain perfect lip reading. If you have 15 strength and only one hand, you can take Titan Grip and then learn how to wield a two-handed weapon one-handed. So they've got a lot of cool stuff here. Yeah. So it says accessibility, not extra abilities. All these feats can be used in place of or in conjunction with magical artifacts or training a character undergoes. Be creative in how to problem solve any issues that might arise. Being flexible as both a DM and a player will allow your characters to exist and grow organically. These feats, like many things in Dungeons & Dragons, are intended to provide frameworks for players and DMs, and not things that are meant to provide advantages for players in combat. So, yeah, both of those are really, really useful, and they're also pay what you like, so pretty affordable too. I have also gone into convenient effects, and I have put all of the injuries into convenient effects, and many of them apply their effects directly when they are turned on, which is really cool. So it's good to have that done for all 3 games. There's no more having to build them in the middle of DMing. Just going to have them all ready to go. So that was another big thing they got taken care of as well. All right. So I guess the next step for injuries is to kind of keep going over this stuff here. So lost parts. We've got guides, rules, feats, etc., etc. Scarring. Magical healing of 6th level or higher, such as a heal or regenerate spell, is required to get rid of scarring or disfigurement, things like that. But muscle and tissue damage, if an injury would be treated as muscle or tissue damage, if you have no wounds but could remove a wound, you can remove one of those injuries. So they're relatively easy to get rid of once you get rid of your normal wounds. And then we got broken and fractured bones. So I did some research. The average human bone takes about 7 weeks to heal. So each broken bone requires up to 20d6, which averages out to be about 70 points of dedicated healing to heal. So if I'm feeling lazy, I'll just say that a broken bone requires 70 hit points to heal. If I'm feeling, micromanagey, I guess, I'll roll 20d6, and then I guess we'll keep track of how much healing is required to get over it. After being set with a DC 15 medicine check, so until the bone is set, it's not going to heal. So that's something that they'll have to do. Such a medicine check requires 5 charges of a healer's kit and 1 hour of time. 1 week of downtime reduces this amount by 10. So actually, that should go... let's see. Not amount, it should say reduces the amount of healing required by 10. So if the average is 70, and then it takes 7 weeks, it would be just resting for a week all by itself would be 10 points of healing towards the bone. But if they have access to magical healing, they can just dump 70 points of magical healing into the broken leg, and it would get better. So in a magical setting, where they have access to magic all the time, a broken leg is an inconvenience, certainly. but it's only going to take them out of commission for like a day or two, depending on what their healing magic looks like. So kind of neat. And dedicated healing means the healing does not actually recover any hit points. It specifically goes to removing this effect. Alright, well, then we get to this part right here, which is the elemental damage. And it says, injuries can be caused by all sorts of damage. Always roll for an injury first using the main table. If the results do not make sense for the elemental damage, oh, and then I think I just wandered off at that point. If the results do not make sense for the elemental damage being dealt, consult the related elemental table for ideas, period. And then that links us to this document. There we go. Over here. And so if they took like a shitload of acid damage and the result was like, I don't know, your kidneys are messed up, right? Like, would acid really mess up their kidneys? Would acid break a bone? Would acid fracture a skull? Question mark, right? So we could go look at this table instead, and some of the results are face is melted, limbs are melted, you're dissolved, you're vulnerable to acid, you're in a lot of pain, and so on and so forth. You're blinded. So like, these are just here for like extreme edge cases. I don't want to actually build a table out for them in Foundry, and I don't want to like live or die by them, but I have them linked in case I need them, essentially. Alright, so what we'll do is we're going to take all of this and we're going to add it to our wounds document. So let's see. Mortal choice and injury. Alright, so we're going to go here and... oh shit. I think I shared this document with the players. But it has like some secret stuff in there, so I probably should have made sure that was actually marked as secret. Oh well. Let's see. And then we go down here and could paste all that in. And clear that out. And let's see, we'll set this up as a heading. There we go. Okay, so that's still a secret up there. Well, it should have been a secret the whole time. And then we'll make the elemental damage. No, we don't need dealt with. We just need this. There we go. Alright, so we will hide these two things. There we go. Nope, that didn't work. Cool. And then that should be fine. And we're good. Alright, so I'm going to select all that. Save it out. And then I'll update it on the other games as well. Making sure that the secret stuff is actually secret. Cool. Go over here. Alright, so that's taken care of as well. So, I think we have addressed the wound situation to a certain extent. A scenario that I find myself considering is when the modern Isekai characters finally make it to Barovia. they're going to be pretty beat to shit. Lots of broken bones, all of that. The question is, do we do like a time skip of them recovering, or do we just have events kind of continue to push forward? So there's certainly a temptation to hand wave it, right? Like they survive, they make it to Barovia, and now they have to like find their way in the world, and then we agree to like a 6-week time skip wherein they learn how to be their fantasy classes and establish themselves as part of the world, and then we continue after that time skip. They would be like level 2 characters at that point instead of just the level 1 characters that they would be in the Death House, and all of their injuries would be healed up. That feels like really convenient. I don't know if you played Cyberpunk 2077, but like at the beginning of the game, doesn't matter like what background you pick, you get like 15 minutes of like custom content for your background, and then it's like they never mention it again for the most part. And then you go and you become a mercenary, and then there's like a cutscene, and there's like a montage of you doing a bunch of mercenary shit. And then it's like 6 months later, you're a mercenary. Yeah, Slitty Thegar, I that's my concern, right? My concern is like letting up the pressure at all diminishes it so much. Like I want the world to feel like there's always bad shit happening. And I don't want them to be able to just sit tight for 6 weeks and have everything be okay. You know what I'm saying? But I also broke both their feet and their legs and their arms. So like while it's been like incredibly exciting and incredibly cool, it's also like kind of disruptive to like the flow of the game to just have a bunch of broken ass people. But at the same time, I'd like to think that the world is interesting enough and dangerous enough that they wouldn't be able to just rest for 6 weeks. So I'm pretty torn about what to do, and I kind of have to know because I think that Nightfall has a good chance of actually making it to Barovia tonight. So not exactly sure what to do about that. Healing for a price. They could be taken to the mayor of the village of Barovia and be there for his funeral. Take it in. Yeah. For sure, for sure. And then there's also a chance narratively to have the characters like in the town before the mayor gets killed, right? Before the mayor gets killed. This is like I don't know. I'm sure all the different times people have run Curse of Strahd, they've done it where maybe the mayor wasn't killed yet, like the baron or the burgomaster or whatever, right? Maybe the burgomaster hadn't been killed yet, and so that creates a situation where the burgomaster takes them in, they befriend his 2 kids, and then the shit with Tatiana kind of starts off. Yeah. Like that could be kind of cool. So then they do have that bit of a respite as they try to like, you know, help out like the mayor and like make the town right and all that kind of stuff. And then they find out like, oh, he's dead. You know what I mean? Like he died. So now the problem there is a big part of the writing here is like, is Strahd a bad guy? Yes, but maybe no. But like, if they know the mayor and he kills the mayor, like, they know that like Strahd is the bad guy, right? Like I feel like we're just kind of setting them on the path right away. That is true though. If Arinya, if Arinya and Eastmark take them in, and the father's still alive, then yeah, there's like a better reason for them to want to keep her safe, to maybe even fall in love with her, and then now Strahd's here, kind of taking their girl. Oh, that's true. That's true. But like, Wouldn't doesn't Irina know who killed her father, like, raw? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she knows who killed her dad. Um, hmm. Also, like, why does Strahd kill her dad? It seems like such a dumb thing to do. Why did Strahd kill Irina's father? Mm-mm-mm. Well, now, yeah, now I'm like super curious. Like, why did he? Cause like he wouldn't let him near the daughter. Like, he's Strahd. He could just go there. Like, I don't. Hmm. Now I'm in sort of a conundrum here. All right. Village of Barovia. House of Barovia. Blah blah blah. Eastmark. Bildrath. Mad Mary. Irina. Burgomaster's Mansion. A weary-looking mansion squats behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside, while the left swings lazily in the wind. The stuttering squeal and clang of the gate repeats with mindless precision. Weeds choke the grounds. Blah 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 blah. Heavy claw. Oh, wait. Actually, no. Don't blah blah blah. This. Weeds choke the grounds and press with menace upon the house itself. Yet, against the walls, the growth has been tramped down to create a path all about the domain. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish of the walls. Great black marks tell of the fires that have assailed the mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands by any window. All the windows are barred with planks, each one marked with stains of evil omen. Okay, but why? So zombies and ghouls were sent here. Um, hmm. The interior of the mansion is well furnished, yet the fixtures show signs of great wear. Noticeable oddities are the boarded up windows and the presence of holy symbols in every room. The burgomaster is in a side drawing room on the floor, lying in a simple wooden coffin, surrounded by wilting flowers and the faint odor of decay. Ismark and Irina made the coffin themselves. Irina, Irina, the striking young woman with auburn hair, has been bitten twice by Strahd, per the famous actual play, Twice Bitten. The villagers are afraid of her and avoid her. The characters are Irina's best hope for protection, so she is willing to accompany them under certain conditions. Though she appears mild, she has a strong will. Blah blah blah. Okay, why? Hmm. That's a great question. Why did Strahd? Oh. So this DM had Strahd poison the dad. Before Irina's brother Ismark discovered Strahd's deed, Irina had already been bitten twice but not transformed. He had also secretly poisoned Irina's father, so she'd be more vulnerable and willing to leave the village for his castle. Before they were going to give the burgomaster a funeral, he knew... Ooh, that's pretty good. Oh, he died of a heart attack. Oh. Hmm. Okay. Well, maybe Strahd Reloaded has some stuff for us to go off of. I feel like this is something I probably should have had figured out ahead of time, but um, let's see. I avoided all of this content because I wanted to make sure that I had the core content down. Developing Strahd's relationship with Irina. All right. An excellent recent post, Guild's Bounty did an incredible job of discussing the mentality, skills, and strategy of Strahd von Zarovich. This post, seriously, go read it, neatly answers one of the two eternal questions that plague DMs running Curse of Strahd. Why does Strahd not just kill the PCs right now? With that said, there's a second question that harries us. Strahd is a tactician, but he is also a lover. If he knows where Arena is, knows the strength of her protectors, and is capable of retrieving her, then why does he simply not take her in Session 3? Oh, by mistake. I like that. That, like, he was just so upset about what was happening that he just had a fucking stroke. I like that quite a bit. Yeah, that's really good. I think honestly that's probably the best way to go with it. This post attempts to answer the question by discussing the 4 stages of Strahd's perspective on Arena. Note that not all 4 stages are necessarily reached in all campaigns, but given the dynamics of the Curse of Strahd module, I can certainly expect DMs to reach stage 4 in a large majority of campaigns. These stages are largely independent of the stages of interest discussed by Guild's Bounty, but it is quite likely that the 2 timelines will correlate as they develop, if only due to the way the module is structured. Disclaimer: the following post discusses an emotionally and physically abusive relationship. If you or any of your players may be disturbed or made uncomfortable by exploring Strahd's obsession with Arena to this depth, I advise dialing his romantic interest back or even eliminating that plotline altogether. So stage 1 is courting. In this stage, Strahd is interested in getting Arena to fall in love with him willingly. He disguises himself as Vasily von Holtz in an effort to get closer to her, and perhaps make her fall in love with his alter ego, and sends her frequent gifts through proxies. He is wary of making a move upon her too soon, as he knows that the Dark Powers will intervene as soon as he does. He believes that if Tatiana loves him wholeheartedly, he has a better chance of keeping her for his own. Aw, that's nice. Thank you, Lex. But you should get out of here, because this is a shitload of spoilers. Alright. So let's see. In the stage, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. He believes that Tatiana loves him wholeheartedly. He has a better chance of keeping her for his own. Stage 2, isolating. Once Strahd realizes that Arena will never love him naturally, Strahd sets out to manipulate her affections and loyalties. He believes that if she is bereft of her support network, she will soon become lonely and desperate enough to turn to him, the one stable thing left in her life. In this phase, Strahd attempts to poison Arena's allies against her, and works to render each sanctuary she finds uninhabitable, while doing the best to portray Castle Ravenloft as a place of safety and warmth. Ah, hence the attack on the house. Okay, okay. Stage 3, threatening. Once Arena moves to physical or emotional point beyond Strahd's reach, either through power of her allies or through her own hostility to his efforts, Strahd snaps and turns to forceful measures, reasoning that the Dark Powers will not step in so long as he does not approach Tatiana directly. Strahd threatens, torments, and tortures Arena's friends, allies, and protectors in an effort to force her to come to him to save their lives and livelihood. And then stage 4, attacking. Once he realizes that Arena has nothing left to lose, or that there is nothing he can do to cajole her into joining him, Strahd takes the gloves off. He no longer cares for the possibility of the Dark Powers' intervention, reasoning that if she dies, he can simply court Tatiana again in a future reincarnation. He takes every effort to kidnap and turn Tatiana by subterfuge and by force. If and when Strahd finally gets his claws on Arena, he swiftly turns her, sending out invitations to their wedding celebration soon after. Note that unless you play Arena and Strahd in far different manner than their book characterizations, Strahd will never achieve his goal in stages 1 or 2, but may succeed in 3, and will almost always succeed in 4 due to his vast power and resources. It is, in some ways, a foregone conclusion that Arena is doomed in the vast majority of all campaigns. Even so, remember that the Dark Powers will never allow Strahd to seal his partnership with Tatiana. Whether it is by suicide, homicide, or simple accident, Strahd's victory will always lead to Arena's untimely death. You could have one of the consort who staged the attacks in the Burgomaster's home, and Strahd didn't want the Burgomaster to die yet. One of the consorts, like one of the brides of Strahd? Hmm. This was very informative, though. Let's see what this excellent post has to say. We got plenty of time before the game. My notes on running Strahd like an unholy terror. There's a better than average chance that I'm a little bit evil. My players know this, and they love-hate me for it. In the interest of spreading the terror, I thought I'd share my notes on how I'm running Strahd in my game. This is filtered through this perspective of Strahd as a character, so I'll drop my notes on that first. Disclaimer, I'm wordy, and this is long. Holy shit, is it long? Would you write like a college course on this? Wow. Oh, man. All right. Whew. Here we go. Strahd is smart. Strahd's combat tactics should adapt to the players. He should figure out the party's weaknesses and target them explicitly. For example, a party with a lot of single target damage but little AoE capabilities will struggle with a large host of weak enemies. Strahd has long since figured out that something is sabotaging his efforts to get Tatiana. This is why he doesn't punch the party's teeth in and snatch her the moment they walk away from Barovia town. Grab her and turn her into a vampire hasn't worked in 700 years. The PCs, as a wild card not native to Barovia, represent a new opportunity to try creative solutions. Anybody that's stomached the second Curse of Strahd novel knows that this is a viable option. Strahd is extremely well informed. Between his spies, ability to scry, and ability to charm people for information, it should be rare that he is unaware of something. Strahd should not make stupid mistakes. If he ever lays hands on the villain ball, I have done something wrong. Strahd is a general. Strahd's tactical acumen applies to any monsters he is commanding. The party should be able to tell when Strahd is directly in charge of enemies they are fighting, because they will be drawn into ambushes and kill boxes, being outflanked regularly, and have to deal with enemies targeting squishy party members first. Strahd is very familiar with mixed unit tactics and should use them. Look for tactical synergy between monsters under his control and exploit it. For example, zombie meat shields backed up by skeletal archers, and or using wolves to run down the PCs and knock them prone, so slower units like vampire spawner zombies can catch up. Strahd is familiar with the effectiveness of magic as tactical support. The party should encounter Strahd-commanded monsters that have been magically buffed by spellcasters who didn't stick around for the actual fight. Strahd is familiar with the role of terrain in combat. The party should never have a terrain-based advantage when fighting Strahd-commanded forces, and Strahd should bring units well suited to the environment. For example, if Strahd has the druids throw a horde of blights at the party, they should attack on open terrain with no choke points. If terrain with significant elevation differences, archers should be positioned on the high ground. Strahd is a wizard with access to every single spell in the game. In the novels, even the Lich Aslan is jealous of how good Strahd's magical library is. It is one of the things that he has cultivated and curated his entire life and unlife. So yeah, he has every spell in the game, no shit. If there's a 5th level or lower spell in the books that looks useful to Strahd, he has access to it. Strahd has absurd ambush capabilities. He has the home field advantage. He may have nests of monsters hidden all over the valley, like the vampire spawn in the Coffin Maker's attic, that he can deploy. He has also had centuries to familiarize himself with the terrain to pick out good spots for ambushes. It's entirely possible for him to have minions he hid so long ago that all traces of their hiding place have gone, such as burying zombies somewhere long enough that grass has grown over their hidey hole. He personally has absurd stealth capabilities between a very high stealth check and the ability to go invisible, and this guy doesn't even mention turning into gaseous form and hiding as animals. Basuphilis, I gotta figure out how to pronounce that. Basuphilis, allows him and his minions to travel via the ethereal plane, which is almost entirely imperceptible and completely intangible to people on the prime material plane, and lets them ignore pesky things like walls. Bear in mind that Basuphilis can only move 3 willing creatures back and forth at a time. Note, Charmed can quickly become willing. Strahd is bored. Oh, I see. The consorts are working against Strahd and Tatiana. That's something that they were doing a lot in the Lunch Break Heroes Raising the Stakes. The brides were like really pissed off about the Tatiana situation. And I kind of like that there's sort of like that conflict there, where like they don't want Tatiana to be united with Strahd. Strahd is bored. With all the advantages Strahd has, if he wanted the party dead, they would be dead. But Strahd has been living in Barovia for centuries, and there's nothing native to the valley that actually threatens him. Adventures are a rare opportunity for him to find some entertainment. Strahd's entertainment primarily consists of terrorizing people and corrupting good things. This all manifests in a few ways. Strahd is not actually bothered when his plans don't work. Instead, he's impressed because it is something novel. He may congratulate the party on their accomplishment. Strahd's plans are not always about achieving a tangible objective. For example, the Feast of St. Andrew's is not some rare opportunity to get rid of a thorn in the side. If he really wanted the bones gone, they'd have been gone ages ago. He has lots of minions that are unaffected by holy ground, like cultists, druids, and werewolves, who could steal them and dispose of them much more thoroughly than hiding them in some old dude's closet. Rather, the plan was more about Henrik, Milovaj, and Jeska, the three people who don't serve Strahd that were manipulated into doing something that put their lives and the lives of a large number of people in danger, and almost destroyed the one safe place in the valley. Even leaving the bones in Henrik's closet was deliberately aimed to taunt him with the fact that you could fix this any time, but you were too cowardly to risk it. And they get to deal with the knowledge of what they did for the rest of their lives. Cities provide no actual protection from Strahd. None of them are actually capable of defending themselves against him and his forces. They continue to exist because he wants them to. After all, it's a lot more convenient when your food stock takes care of itself and tends to its own pens. If Strahd decides a city needs to go, it's history. The half-dozen vampire spawn that Strahd dropped in the coffin maker shop could, most likely, take out the entire guard force by themselves. 24 guards in a palisade really isn't much of a viable defense against a vampire lord, or anything, I might add. Strahd is trying to draw things out until the party reaches the too dangerous to let live stage. He won't actively try to kill the PCs. If they just happen to die, then, oh well, guess they weren't going to be interesting anyways. Strahd's campaign against the PCs should be psychological warfare heavy. Remember that Strahd is a prisoner. For all his power, for all his might, Strahd is a prisoner in the lands of Barovia. With his permission, anyone can safely leave Barovia except for him. He is both the Lord of Barovia and the inmate that can never leave. Strahd has an ancient agreement with the Vistani, giving them free passage through his lands. In exchange, they can act as informants for him. Some Vistana serve him directly, but this is not the norm. This is how he gets news from the outside if he is interested. Strahd is aware that something more powerful than him is toying with him, and is trying to find a way to break their grip. Strahd is the land. Strahd has an intrinsic tie to Barovia. This has a few effects. Weather conditions conspire to favor Strahd. This can mean anything from him getting dramatic cracks of thunder whenever he wants them, to having a heavy rain or fog obscuring sight and sound when he wants to be sneaky, or just making people he doesn't like miserable. On a grand scale, Strahd can alter the environment. Historically, he used his power to destroy the town of Berez by flooding and permanently turning it into a swamp. This is part of why you cannot successfully defend a town that Strahd wants to destroy. He can turn the entire environment against it. Flood Valakai, take Krezk out with an avalanche, etc. Strahd technically owns everything in the valley. He does not need an invitation to enter any homes, because he is the lord of all the people and therefore owns their homes. This is the trump card for him, though, and not something he reveals lightly. Also, he still maintains some noble sensibilities. It is rude to just barge into someone's home without an invitation. Creative tactics. Let's see. Because of Strahd's capabilities, he has tactical options not available to your average enemy, particularly when he is acting as a commander. Fun and games with Bucephalus. Bucephalus, despite getting only extremely minor mention in the book, is incredibly useful as such. I upgraded him a bit in my game. Strahd put forth the effort of acquiring barding for the horse, upping its AC to 18. So, given this, let's look at some options. Strahd is faster than you. He has a flying mount with a 90-foot speed that isn't impeded by physical objects. He can beat the party to any location he wants to beat them to. He can go through solid objects and be invisible and be ethereal. He can move allied creatures into ambush locations using Bucephalus's powers. When they are all ready actions to attack the moment they're shifted onto the material plane. Tactical repositioning. Vesuvius can pull allies into the ethereal, relocate them, and then pop back into material with them on the next round. This allows him to move allied creatures past choke points, barricades, and other obstacles. What kind of game is this dude running? Holy shit. Is this like some Warhammer 40k Curse of Strahd? This can be paired with the perfect ambush option to dogpile a vulnerable character. It's raining monsters. This takes some prep work, but Vesuvius can be used to lead a parade of creatures through the ethereal to points near the PCs. Vesuvius then goes from point to point, popping these monsters back into the material plane, delivering a moderate force to a location without any sign of their approach. Easily usable to fill houses with monsters to all come pouring out to attack the PCs when the timing is right. For a bit of hilarity, make this literal. The monsters all stand above the combat point, and he starts transporting them back, allowing them to literally rain down on the PCs. Using Vesuvius is not without risks. If he is destroyed, then any creatures currently on the ethereal plane are stranded. This is another good reason for Strahd to have devil summoning spells, as he may get stranded on the ethereal and need to temporarily summon another nightmare to get himself out. An alternative possibility is to make it that Vesuvius cannot be properly killed. If killed, Strahd can resummon it in 24 hours. Pulling in a magical item from Mordecai's Tome of Foes, Infernal Tack. Could be used with this. If you want to get rid of Vesuvius, you need to get the spurs to summon him and bind him to Strahd. Without them, he can't summon the nightmare. If you're evil, maybe now you can. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Where's Strahd at? All right. What are these things called? Tack? Alright. Pulling an item from workers, Infernal Tack. Why is Infernal Tack not showing up in my compendium? Okay. The rider binds a nightmare to its service with Infernal Tack, which consists of a bridle bit, reins, saddle, and stirrups, along with the spurs that are worn by the rider. A nightmare equipped with Infernal Tack must serve whoever wears the spurs until the wearer dies or the tack is removed. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. If it disappears, it reforms within 24 hours and must continue to serve you. Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty good. Alright. Let's see. Confusion tactics. If Strahd gets to prepare the battlefield, perhaps he sets some things up in advance. Illusionary terrain to hide natural or unnatural, like pits, traps, perils. I don't really know if he needs any more advantages, in so much as the party doesn't even have magic. But, let's see. Making Strahd seem omniscient without cheating. Stages of interest. Here we go. Alright, fuck. In my game, I gauge Strahd's current interest in the party in 5 levels. The more attention Strahd is paying to you, the more dangerous your life becomes. Stage 1, aware. The party has only recently arrived at Barovia and hasn't done anything of note yet. Strahd is aware that they exist because he is aware of anyone entering his domain, but isn't paying much attention to them. Basically, they need to prove they aren't just going to bite it at the first time a couple of zombies jump them. Strahd continues business as normal. If the party encounters him at this point, it's coincidental. He was somewhere doing something and they just happened to be there. Vistani and other allies of Strahd will report to him anything they learn about the PCs, but Strahd is making no special effort to investigate them. If they encounter creatures Strahd controls, he is not commanding them. Stage 2, interested. The party has performed some unexpected or impressive feat, thwarting a plan, killing a powerful creature, acquiring a relic, etc. Strahd has deemed them worth his attention. At this point, he is primarily gathering information. Spies start to try to steal personal effects from the PC so that they can he can scry on them better. If a PC isolated at some point, Strahd may attempt to interview them. He approaches them in bat form and tries to charm them. If successful, he takes humanoid form and they have a chat. He wants to know more about them and their companions and asks questions to that effect. He keeps the interview short and then tries to use Modify Memory to wipe the conversation from the PC's head. In play, simply call for wisdom saves from the isolated player and don't tell anyone anything. If they fail both, perhaps tell the player outside of the game, if you want to let the role play out the forgotten discussion with Strahd. Strahd could use the same trick on NPCs that the party is friendly with. Strahd will observe the party in combat while invisible, ethereal, as a bat, etc. He may throw a mixed or buffed unit at them and command it just to see how they fare. This is when Strahd sends them an invitation to dinner. I recommend having a look at 11 Towers Guide to Dinner with Strahd. Okay. If you plan, there's so much support for this game, and I want it to be really good, but it's like a lot, man. It runs deep. If you plan to plant a Strahd serving mole in the party, do it at the end of stage 2. Stage 3, active interference. Strahd has gathered enough information and it's now time to have some fun. This is the stage that Strahd will be the most fun for the adventure. He is seeking to corrupt the PCs, manipulate them into helping him bypass whatever is keeping him from Arena, break their spirits, or whatever else he deems suitable for the given PC. This will be broken up into 2 parts. Changes to life of the party. Enemies should behave more intelligently. Mixed units should start to become more common. Strahd himself may pick fights with them just to kick them around a bit. Always have multiple escape plans in mind for Strahd. Strahd's psychological warfare goals are primarily focused on sowing distrust and paranoia among the PCs. If a particular PC seems susceptible to betraying their friends, he focuses on isolating that character. Additionally, if he can get them to do something evil, then points to him. Then stage 4, break them. Strahd is ready to start breaking his toys now, continuing anything he's doing in stage 3, but turning it up to 11. And then obliterate them. The party is too dangerous to be left alive, or has enraged Strahd. Okay. Alright, advice on fighting them with Strahd. Alright, cool. Let's see. You could try to portray it as those under him are the evil ones, like the brides, and Strahd is more of an uncaring ruler to the party. Oh, like some Castlevania Dracula shit? Like, he doesn't want to be a bad guy. He's just stuck with the role of bad guy. I feel this post makes Strahd nearly too flawless. And to me, make it feel like Strahd can't be affected by any failure to his plan. I mean, Burning Hound, like, so having read the novel twice, and I'm listening to the second novel, and I've read the adventure 3 times, and I've played the second edition, like, you know, Ravenloft. I feel like that's kind of the situation. Like, Strahd he's like in a simulation where no matter how many times he dies, he comes back. No matter how many times he tries to win, he loses. Like, it's like that one World of Warcraft character or player that's been there since like day 1. And they've been through every server reset, they've been through every nerf, they've been through everything that's happened. I feel like the way that this guy on Reddit, Guild's Bounty, is presenting it is not wrong. Like, Strahd really is that strong, like, at least according to like the books and everything. This is very much like when this adventure came out, right? They hadn't released all of the other books. Like, there wasn't like Tasha's and Xanathar's. There weren't all these crazy broken combos yet. So, like, this adventure was, like, very hard. It was very hard. Like, it's still a very hard adventure, but it was very hard when it first came out. And this post is all about using the raw resources that Strahd is and has to its fullest, which I think is a very honorable approach as a DM. This is a very Pathfinder Dungeon Master way of doing this, right? You take the Legos that they gave you and you make them work, right? Nowhere in here, other than suggesting like a magical item, does he work outside of the rules. If Strahd had all of these resources at his disposal, and he does, he could do all of these things. So, like, I don't think that this is bad at all. Like, the players are very much not the heroes of this adventure, there are really no heroes in this adventure. Like, this is about, like, Strahd and what kind of story the DM is trying to tell with Strahd. And, like, the different pieces of that are the ongoing drama of him wanting Arinia but not being able to keep her, him wanting to escape from, you know, Barovia but being unable to do so, and then him ultimately just being a prisoner of his curse, the titular curse, ... of Strahd. So, like, it really comes down to the dungeon master deciding, how am I going to represent this in my game? Like, what am I going to run with? What am I going to do? It sounds like this particular guy, Guild's Bounty, he wanted to focus on Strahd being bored and wanting a challenge. And basically, it sounds like his Strahd's sort of taking a pass on the whole Tatiana bullshit. Like, he's maybe just over it, you know? Whereas I've heard of some games where, like, the Tatiana thing is, like, the central focus of the entire game. And the problem with all of these things is that they don't fully explain to you, like, why Strahd doesn't just go and get Arinia right away, or why he doesn't just kill the players right away. And so that's why everybody is exploring all of these other theories about, like, well, what does he want, and what is he doing, and what is this about? So my take on it is, without too many spoilers, in the same manner that in Odyssey of the Dragonlords, the main characters of the adventure are fated heroes. Like, they're fated to do this thing. But the angle I took with that is that it's not so much that they're fated to do it, it's that they exist outside of fate. So they could do anything they want. The idea here is that Strahd is trapped in this, like, recycling, like, endless simulation, essentially, of you're never going to get Tatiana, but you want to get Tatiana, but you're not going to get Tatiana. You want to escape from Barovia, but you can't because you are Barovia. You made a bad deal and you're going to pay for it for the rest of your life. We're going to make you suffer so that you make others suffer, and so on and so forth. So, like, the player characters could, in a way, represent something acting outside, some outside force that acts outside of the Dread Lords, outside of the Mist, the Dark Powers. This is what he has been waiting for. The reason that he always tests adventurers, the reason that he always fucks with adventurers and pushes them and tests their limits and sees what they're capable of, is because they represent something that is not a part of the cycle. And anytime you introduce that sort of alien presence, that other presence, right, there's a chance, maybe, that things could change. Well, right. And that's the thing, is, like, Strahd is stuck. Like I was saying, he is a part of this scenario. Like, he is just as much a part of the world as every other part of it, because he is literally the land. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he can't get past it because it is him. But that doesn't stop him from trying everything to do so. And I think that part of why the adventurers have such a strong chance of success and a strong chance of living is because he is hoping that one of these days someone new, someone different will be able to break the cycle. That's why he keeps giving these adventurers a chance. That's why he keeps pushing them and testing them and stressing them and breaking them, because he needs something. Even a silver dragon paladin wasn't enough to change things, right? Argon Vostal was not enough to change things. So he's very bitter and he's very cynical and he's very bored, but he can't give up, right? Because until he can break the cycle, there's no reason to have Tatiana at all. There's no reason to have her at all, because he knows he's going to lose her as long as the cycle is in place. He has to break the cycle to get Tatiana. So my Strahd is not obsessed with getting Tatiana in that baser way, right? He is like realizing that the acquisition and loss of her is a part of the curse, and the only way to get her is to keep her alive, keep her in sight. Yeah, like, he wants her protected. He wants her safe. She can't be too close to him or she'll die. But she can't be on her own or she'll die. So in a way, he needs these heroes to take care of her. He needs these heroes to protect her while he figures out how to break the curse, which he thinks one or more of the player characters might be the key to doing that. Exactly. So the player characters have two important life-saving roles that he thinks, right? Right, exactly. So he needs her kept alive, and he has many enemies that want her dead. I am actually contemplating bringing Aslan in as like a secret bad guy part of the campaign, maybe. But like, he also needs to figure out how to break the cycle. And so if he breaks the cycle but there's no Tatiana, then he escapes Barovia but he loses the girl. So he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to leave Barovia if he can't take Tatiana with him. It would all be for nothing at that point. So he needs both things to happen. He needs to find a way out and also have the girl. So this is like this is the toughest run yet. This is the toughest run yet for him. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. So I guess the question then is, what happened to the father, right? Like, did Strahd kill the father, or did the father die? And they kind of blame Strahd because like Strahd has let the land fall into such disrepair and ruin, and if the burgomaster wasn't trying to shoulder so much and defend the town against so much evil, his heart wouldn't have given out and he would have kept going. I kind of like that angle a lot more. Now, as far as like, is the mayor still alive when they get there, or has he recently died? I don't know. Right, exactly. So what I'm thinking is the Baron, not the Baron, but the Burgomaster could be alive. The Burgomaster could be alive. And then when the party is recovering and they're running out there and they're doing stuff to help the town, they come back and there has been an attack on the house led by one of the brides of Strahd. And then that resulted in the death of the dad because he just had a fucking heart attack in the middle of the fight. I like that a lot. So we're gonna need somebody to portray the dad. Yeah. All right. Sounds pretty good. Kind of like where that's going. All right. So let's see. Burgomaster. All right. Do they mention the name of the former burgomaster? Or do I have to go to like the character section at the back of the book? Let's see. I know he signed a letter. Let's see. Oh yeah, his name is Kolyan Indirovich. So Kolyan Indirovich is the father of Ismark and the adopted father of Irenia. So let's see if we can find any character art for this guy. Got a lot of Eastmark art. That's not too bad. That's kind of that's all right. Okay. There we go. All right. So save this out. Think Death House might last 6 sessions or more? No, I don't think so. I think that, if I'm being honest, I think they'll be done tonight. If we look at what they have left to do, let me add this guy real quick before I forget. Let's see. Barovia Village. Let's see. We will have him. We'll just duplicate Bildrath. There we go. All right. There we go. All that's already set up for me. Good shit. Going here. There we go. Go. And I think we're good. Alright, so he's alive and well. That's good to hear. Okay, so tonight they are in Durst Manor, Death House 1. Yeah. Oh, the mother of Arena? I don't think we know raw. I'm just gonna say that she died in childbirth, giving birth to Eastmark, which is why the dad kind of like doesn't like Eastmark that much. So, you know, that's why the town doesn't like Eastmark that much. So he's called like Eastmark the Lesser because he lives in the shadow of his father, and then he was also like an ill birth. So I'm gonna go with that angle that, you know, Eastmark killed his mom inadvertently. So check it out, y'all. They found the staircase that leads up. If they go back up, they're just going to deal with like shit that's upstairs, which is to say insect swarms, and they don't want to deal with that. Let's see, I got a swarm of stinging insects here, and yeah, same deal. So, yeah, if they try to go upstairs now, I'm just probably going to be like, hey, the stairs are full of stinging insects. You don't want to do that. It's railroading. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's railroading. So the only other places for them to explore would be the barracks over here, the tombs, the well, and then going downstairs. And there's no monsters left. So, like, that's just walking around. So, after that, they go downstairs. And this is the level up room right here. 35. And then they go to, like, this area right here. 36. Which is just, like, I don't know. Like a secret door into, like, this ritual room. And then they gotta fight Baby Walter. Yeah. Well, honestly, both groups, right? No. Daybreak still has the dirts to deal with and the final boss, yeah. So they have the final boss, and then they have to escape from the Death House, which is its own section in the book. If we go to Death House, there's a section here at the very end where they have to escape. Let's see. One must die. If any character climbs on top of the dais, reads, the chanting rises once more. 13 dark apparitions appear on the ledges overlooking the room. Each one resembles a black-robed figure holding a torch, but the torch's fire is black and seems to draw light into it, where you expect to see faces are voids. One must die, they chant over and over again. One must die. And these are harmless apparitions, blah, 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 blah. But if somebody does die, then that's all good. Now, if they deny the cult and they try to escape from the house, traps everywhere. Scything blade traps, mist coming in, fire shooting out, poisonous smoke, swarms of rats, all that shit. I am curious tonight if they will sacrifice somebody or if they will, if a lot of them will die. I mean, it's Death House. I honestly am surprised that we haven't had any permanent deaths yet. Let's see. Stat-wise, at 136 health, with resistance to cold and fire, I don't know. Their DPS with a gun is pretty good, but I think this thing is just going to wreck them if they don't kill somebody. So I guess the question is, do they all die or not? Yeah. Well, in Saltmarsh, or not Saltmarsh, oh my god. In Daybreak, I could definitely see them sacrificing Anna, or Deanna for sure. But in Nightfall, I feel like they would just be like, I guess we'll all fucking die. And then I might just say, like, I guess that's the campaign and have my Thursday nights back. I don't know. Kind of tempting. It's kind of tempting. But I'll kill as many of them as it takes, I guess. Until they learn the lesson. I mean, that sounds horrible, but it is what it is. What would happen to Deanna if the curse is lifted? Well, you can't really lift the curse on the house. You can only appease the house or piss the house off. Like the curse, there's no way for them to remove the curse on the house. I would say that Anna's ghost could go with the party though, if they decided to leave. But much like Strahd, Death House can't be destroyed. Like Death House it builds itself again after like a week. Like there's no way to get rid of the Death House. It's just as empowered by the mist as Strahd himself. So, now I'm kind of curious. Should I put 13 spooky ass creatures down? Would that be kind of cool? Maybe. Alright. Oh, we're almost out of time. So, whoever I pick for these apparitions, they could just kind of go wherever. So, either way, they're going to get outside of the house and into the forest of Barovia. And then they have to figure out where to go from there. So if they turn left, they're going to go towards the gates of Barovia, which I believe I have. Yeah, right here. Gates of Barovia. And then otherwise they would head towards the town. So the other thing we need to look at is their dashboard. So I got this Barovia landing page here. And it looks like everything has already been moved over for it in anticipation of that. We've got the house ready to go. And then there's like the evil creature thingies or whatever, which I can always just grab from the other game as needed. Because I have this document, the Curse of Strahd Reloaded, that we've been pulling some side quests from, things like that. Oh, I have something I want to check. Is the Burgomaster's Manor, does it exist? Let's see. Curse of Strahd, Village of Barovia, Burgomaster's house, Burgomaster's home. I think there's only an outdoor for the Burgomaster's home. So what we could do... Oh, I have an idea. So what we could do is we could use the original Death House as the interior of the Burgomaster's house. That's not a bad idea. Let's see. So let me go to Le Hammer. Make sure that we're all friends on Patreon. It seems like I have to do this like once a week or something. Alright, so we're all friends. That's cool. So let's go in here. And go to Benio's maps. And... house. So we've got... Oh, here's the Baron's house. Interior. Why do I not have the Baron's house? Oh, this is from Valakai's Baron's house. Okay. Well, yeah, we don't want to mess with that. And I think I archived Valakai for now. Nope, I've got it right there. Okay. So we need another house then. So we could do the Death House. Well, we don't want the 4K one though. There we go. Yeah. Go ahead and import this. I don't want to overwrite that though. I don't think it'll overwrite it because I moved it to a different folder. Let's see what happens. Say a little prayer. Hope that it all works out. Hope that it imports before the game. But yeah, we could use the interior of the Death House as the interior of the Burgomaster's manor. So, I guess like here's the thing, Burning Hound. I don't really want to run any more Dungeons and Dragons games. So like, I kind of wonder if maybe like if everybody just dies, like that could be it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Just an idea. Just throwing it out there. Like maybe this is it. You know? Like I don't want them to think that there's always going to be a parachute, especially not in this campaign. So like as much as I like playing with these people and as much as I enjoy the Nightfall group and the Daybreak group, I kind of feel like if they all die, that might just be it. And I mean, all dying is a lot because there's 10 of them, because they all have companions. So like, you gotta really fuck up to have all 10 people die. Or you just have to actively choose death. If they choose death, what am I supposed to do about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, if they aren't willing to be corrupted, if they aren't willing to play the game, why would Strahd want them in the first place? Do you know what I mean? Like, the way I'm using the Death House is Aragol, the Vistana. He travels the different worlds. He planeswalks. He finds people that his cards, his Taroka deck kind of points out are worthwhile individuals. And then he tricks them into the house. The house is like the trial by fire. It's the proving grounds. If they can't survive the house, then they have no use to Strahd, and therefore they have no use to the game. Is sort of where I'm at with that. And it sounds really cruel, but like it's just kind of how it is. So I don't know. Alright, I think our actual Death House files are intact, so that's good. And I also think I imported them to the wrong world. So now we have to do all that over again. Hold on. Let's see. Hammer. Go. Ugh. And Venios. And Death. Death House. HD. Import. Import all entities with the pack. Ooh, look at that. People are already logging in. That's great. So that's good, because now we're getting use out of the Death House house maps that Benios made, even though we used a different map for ours. So I think that works pretty well. And then they have like a nice place to stay while they're in town, unless they just want to stay at the tavern. But it gives them, like, you know, we have an interior if we need it. So overall, it's pretty good. We'll keep the mayor or the burgomaster alive for now. Befriend the kids, do some work around the town, see the shape of things, maybe even fall in love with one or two siblings, and then we kill the dad, and then things start cooking from that point. So that seems pretty good. All right. Real quick on announcements. We have coming up. Nothing's going on tomorrow. No Orpheus game, no Crash Gem game, no Vodcast with Dom. Saturday's Red Hand of Doom. We don't have that going on. It's my birthday this weekend, but I'm not actually celebrating my birthday. We have a bunch of family visiting because my Nana is like 90 years old, and her birthday and my birthday are pretty much like the same time. So we're like celebrating her birthday this weekend, and that's going to take up all my time. Sunday I'll be back though for Daybreak. Sunday night we'll have Mythic. Monday we will continue Odyssey Prime. There was a lapse in service, and then we'll be back to normal, at least until Christmas. So, hooah! All right. Well, hopefully you can join us tonight. Dom Odyssey on Twitch will be streaming the game tonight. The VOD will go live, I don't know, Tuesday? I think it's Monday. So, yeah, maybe I'll see you later. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.